Now, without further delay, I'd like to turn today's call over to your first speaker, Chuck Tomasi. Chuck, you have the floor.
Hello and welcome to TechNow, the web series for ServiceNow admins, builders, and developers on a variety of Now Platform topics. My name is Chuck Tomasi, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to ATF, Custom UI, and Parameterized Tests. And just to get this out of the way, ATF is not the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. It is our automated test framework. And our guest presenter, Shriti Verma, will be getting into that deeper. Real quick introduction about me. If you haven't been on one of these webinars in the last 6 years, well, my role has probably changed. I am a senior TPMM at ServiceNow, which means I work with people like Shriti who do the product management and present this information to you, the customer. This sounds a bit like that guy from Office Space now that I think about it. If you missed the reference, I apologize. Wonderful movie. Go watch it. Have fun. Lots and lots of experience in the industry, which means I'm getting old and enjoying every minute of it. Been a customer and using the platform for the last 11 years. So it's been a really fun journey watching this go from startup to the mega powerhouse company that it is right now, but still having that culture of working closely with the customers. I do a number of videos for ServiceNow, this one included. There's lots of information about me on the ServiceNow community, so I invite you to go over there and take a look and maybe even engage over there as well. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Craig for his introduction.
All right. And I'm Craig Steph. I'm a program manager at ServiceNow over at Cloud Labs, and you've probably seen my work if you've been in knowledge and taken a class or one of the workshops or anything like that. All the virtual machines that are used for the labs, that's what I'm kind of in the background, I'm in charge of. I specialize in cloud automation, and I've been at ServiceNow since 2014, so I'm turning into one of the ServiceNow old guys. I've been here for 5 years. And prior experience, I was doing orchestration, and a lot of automation kind of stuff here in ServiceNow. And of course, I've been a co-host with Chuck since 2016. And my hobbies are podcasting, photography, and Linux. And now let me turn it over to the lovely Stacey Bailey.
Hi, everyone. My name is Stacey Bailey. I've been a ServiceNow nerd for, I think I'm hitting 10 years this year. First as a customer, implementing a domain-separated environment and owning that for multiple years. Then as a partner, doing implementations and follow-on engagements, and an employee since 2014. So I've touched a lot of different areas of ServiceNow, but I really, really feel passionate about this product just as much as I did on day one. So I'm also an all-around nerd, but with a lot of artistic flair in there. So I like gadgets and learning unique skills. Recently I learned Coptic bookbinding. So that was, if there's any demand for 1,000-year-old bookbinding techniques, I'm your girl. So anyway, it's interesting and always fun to be part of the ServiceNow world. So I will turn it over to our guest speaker, Shriti Verma, for her introduction.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. I'm Shriti Verma, and I am a Senior Product Manager here at ServiceNow. I have been with ServiceNow from 2016, and since then I have owned many products, but Automated Test Framework is the product that I own from the beginning, from its launch, which was in Istanbul. So I'm really passionate and very enthusiastic about this particular product, and I'm looking forward to today's presentation. That's it. So, who's next? Chuck, over to you.
Go ahead, Stacey.
All right. So I am unable to advance the slide. Can you give me an assist, Chuck?
There
we go.
Done.
All right, so besides our usual plugs for upcoming events and important things that you should have on your calendar, we'll also be looking at a quick tip. If you don't know this one with ***, this is definitely a winner. So we'll go through a few quick things as quickly as we can before getting to the main topic, ATF, custom UI, and parameterized testing. Usually we go right up to the end of our webinars, but if we have any time, we'll do some live Q&A. If we do not get to your question, please know that we do follow up afterwards, and we'll post all the Q&A questions and answers to the community, probably within like 3 or 4, maybe 5 days afterwards. So don't lose faith there. All right, it seems like Knowledge 2019 was forever ago, but thank you all. It was great to see everyone for the conference. You can still relive this, though. At the knowledge.servicenow.com site, there is a link to watch the 2019 videos. So if you're feeling reminiscent, you want to go back and check out the content, there's that video library there. So mark your calendars. Our next one is Orlando, May 3rd through 7th. There will be lots of information coming out for that. You'll be able to justify it and make sure that you can attend next year in Orlando. If we can move on. Also, if you go out to Knowledge, again, check out the video library, go back, revisit it. There's a lot of content that you can still get to on demand out there. So mark your calendars, make a note. And also, while you're out there looking at ServiceNow sites, be sure to visit the Customer Success Center. One of the really nice things about the Customer Success Center is that it's not just focused on technical topics and developers. It's all about the journey for success for our customers. One of the things that I was just looking at that's pretty relevant that's coming up are the sections on upgrades. So out there we have checklists, processes, and tips for making sure your upgrades, especially the one coming up to New York, go very smoothly. And part of that, which dovetails really nicely into our presentation today, is centered around QuickStart test and the automated test framework. Can really help accelerate upgrades from release to release. So check this out soon as you get ready for New York coming up. Additionally, we have a developer program. You can get your own instance of ServiceNow. New York instances were just recently released. So if you want to check out New York, get your hands on it really early, request your free personal developer instance from developer.servicenow.com. One of the other things that we have out there on developer.servicenow.com are educational self-paced courses. So those are in the Learn area. And if you are looking at the learning content and classes available on Developer, make sure in the bottom right to switch over to New York release, and you'll see a class there for ATF as well. It has a good introduction, gets you into the details, and also includes a section on parameterized testing. So make sure to check that out. All right, let's move on to the quick tips.
All right. Thank you, Stacy. And I want to just preface this with these quick tips often come from the community. I do a video series there, and somebody says, hey, that was neat. Show me again. I've never seen that before. And sometimes, the people like Stacy and me who've been around the platform, I don't even remember where we pick up some of these things, but I just wanted to show you real quick one that I've used a lot. And when I showed it recently, somebody says, what was that? And I'll get my screen sharing going here. And you now see what we see. Ta-da. This has to do with using ** in a reference field. It's sort of a wildcard that says, show me the first 10 or so records. So here I've got a table that I created myself. I'm using a reference field to the location field, or to the location table. And just typing ** says, just go get the first few records. Why is this handy? Well, you may not be familiar with the table that you're getting, and in development, you just need a test record, or you need to use something other than your favorite test record, which is often called test or demo or dummy or whatever favorite record you use. But in the case of location, I may choose to, I don't need to know all of the 100 or so locations that are in there, but I could choose San Diego one day and say Dave Slesher's record is in San Diego and Chuck Tomasi is in. I don't have to go looking. Obviously, I've got my recent selections. That's just what reference fields do. But I could do another one that's in Georgia and save that one. So ** is a really great way to just say, show me some sample records. I don't care which one, but I would rather not choose the same one every time, because muscle memory is you go to the location field and you start typing the first 3 letters and you get the same field. And that's not really a good way to test your software. So gives you a variety of things to choose from in a very quick format. I told you this was going to be a quick one, so use ** when you're doing that. And with that, I am going to turn it over to our star guest presenter, Shriti Verma, and I may interject once in a while with commentary or question. So off to the races, Shriti.
Thank you, Chuck. So before we go deep into what is custom UI testing and parameterized testing, let's take a recap of what is automated test framework. So those who don't know what is automated test framework, it's a framework that is built by ServiceNow, so it's not a third-party tool or it's not dependent on any third-party tool, which will help you convert all your manual tests that you do on ServiceNow platform into an automated test. So the goal of automated test framework is to help you upgrade faster so that you can convert your manual tests into all the automated one and you can run it in an automated fashion. And this particular framework is designed for both no-code and pro-code users. When I say no-code users, the users who don't like scripting, right? They like drag and drop and just create stuff. So that's what it means, no-code users, and pro-code if you like scripting. So you can also write a script and then create a test using that. So we have a step where you can write a Jasmine script and you can run a test using that. And we have seen, we have heard from customers that it helps them automate tests from 70 to 90%, more than 90% of the time in some cases. It depends upon what you are using, right? If you are using heavy integration users, then you may not achieve 90% threshold because we don't support outbound integration today, but we do inbound. But if you use forms, custom UI with Madrid, and service portal, all those stuff, you can automate all the manual tests that you do on those UIs using ATF. So as I said, the goal of ATF is to help you upgrade faster. It is also the goal of ATF is to make sure that you can automate all the manual tests that you do on ServiceNow platform. Someday I want to achieve that 100% coverage instead of 90%. But today it's still you can achieve a lot, and we have heard from customers they were able to reduce their upgrade cycle time from months to days. So it was like 3 months to 9-10 days. So you can also do that by using ATF. And the goal of ATF is also to make sure the test that you create works across releases. So for example, when you create a test using Selenium, for example, and we come up with a new UI, those tests may not work because those tests, those frameworks or those tests are very DOM dependent. So our goal is not to make this framework DOM dependent and make sure that you can test whenever we come up with any new UI.
I just want to point out that slide, Shriti, is probably the money slide right there, the one with the goals. If you wanted to take a picture, that's the one that says, why do we need to use ATF? And it's upgrades, it's releases, it's that test coverage to really speed things up. And as one of my colleagues likes to say, it's the gift that keeps on giving. The tests you make today are going to be good when you're ready to upgrade to New York or Orlando or whatever the release is. They just work because they're part of the platform. They're part of your custom applications. They're part of your update sets that go along with that, which is just, that's the beautiful part, is they're always there.
Absolutely. So the benefits of ATF, productivity-wise, we know that it reduces upgrade cycle time. You can create and save automated tests As Chuck said, that you can move it around through update sets, and you can also use the test through different releases, right? And starting London, basically. In London, we had few tests that would help you test CSM application. So you cannot use those tests as is, and I will talk about that also in this particular webinar. But in Madrid, every application packages, there's a pre-packaged test with every application that you can use to create automated test case faster. From ease of use standpoint, as I said, it is designed for both kind of users, technical, non-technical. So, and it doesn't involve any third-party tools, so you don't have to install anything to enable ATF. It comes with the platform. It is enabled by default, and tests can be reused across different instances. And feature-wise, we will be talking about parameterized tests. We have test suite. You can schedule tests. Parallel tests also, you will be able to do that in New York, not in Madrid yet. But you can also customize and create your own steps. So we come up with few out-of-the-box steps, but you can also create your own steps. And our advanced ATF users, they create their own steps to fill all the white spaces that we have that you may see with ATF. So this is how products evolved over the period of time, right? We released in Istanbul. In Istanbul, we just supported forms and form-based UI testing and server-side testing. From day one, it was designed to test both out-of-the-box application, any customization that you do in global or scope. You can test from the day one back on. So it was not just for scope app or global apps, kind of. In Jakarta, then we added end-to-end service catalog testing capability. We added inbound REST testing capabilities. We added scheduling. So in Jakarta, you can start scheduling your tests, and you can run at any time of the day. Pick a browser was something where prior to Jakarta, whenever you ran a test, it used to randomly pick one browser wherever the client test runner is running. And those who don't know client test runner, you will know when I demo the product. But wherever the browser, it will randomly pick one browser and it will run. But pick a browser feature, you can choose which browser you want to test. And transaction log was something that we added in Jakarta to help with troubleshooting. So one of the feature or the feature of the ATF is that it will roll back after the test completes. So when the test completes, everything gets rolled back and you get your system in clean state. So that is a good point of the rollback. But what's the bad thing about the rollback is that you will lose all the history. So you should have some way to look at what was happening when the test was running, right? So with that intention, we added transaction log capability so that we can look at the history as to what exactly was happening during the test was running. In Kingston, we didn't add much because we were trying to make ATF WCAG compliant. So the only feature that we added in Kingston was redone field test in a suite. Then in London, we added less navigator testing, so you can start your test by clicking on a menu item or a module, or you can test for module visibility or menu item visibility and not visibility kind of stuff. We added limited testing for service portal, so it was just form-based widgets and only out-of-the-box widget testing in London. And then we added negative testing on the server side, so server-side steps. So basically, when you add a record query, record insert step, for example, then you can add a negative test saying whether the record was inserted or not, or for update whether it was updated or not, kind of. And ignore browser console error was mainly to reduce our red line and to help you with all the client-side JavaScript errors that you see. So with that particular feature, what you could do is you could whitelist those errors and say, okay, for now I want to continue the testing. The reason why we said you could whitelist and allow you to continue testing is because one of the feature of ATF or one of the goal of ATF is also to help you test with business process testing, right? So it should not be so much dependent on client-side JavaScript or UI kind of error. So that's why we said you can ignore that, and then you can come back later, fix the problem, and come back later and get it out of the whitelist error. That absolutely doesn't mean that you should like ignore those client-side JavaScript errors completely. It's just for the time being you can whitelist that and then run it. In Madrid, which we will be talking in detail today, which is custom UI testing, and that is basically will help you test Service Portal completely. So our custom widgets on Service Portal or any custom UI. There are certain UIs that we blacklisted, and I will also show you where you can find those. But most of the UIs, custom UIs on our platform, you can test using custom UI testing. Parameterized testing is basically being able to run same test with different set of data, and we'll see that as well. And QuickStart test is the test that it's a prepackaged test that every application team have added in their application, which will help you create tests faster to test any of the ServiceNow application. So now moving to custom UI testing feature. Before that, Chuck, any questions?
I am looking. No, we should be good. Oh, we do have one question. Will ATF include the ability to test mobile in future releases?
Yeah, that is something definitely is at the back of our mind. We don't exactly know which release yet, but yeah, that is definitely something we will be looking at.
All righty. It's on the radar. Thank you.
Yes. So custom UI testing, what it will help you do is, as I said, it will help you create automatic tests to test any custom UI. So let's look at the demo. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screenshot?
Looking.
I can. There you go.
There it is. Yep. Thank you.
All right. So now let's say if this is the use case and this is what you want to test. You want to test whether I can post a comment on a knowledge article or not. So this is how a user will navigate to, let's say, a particular knowledge article, right? So if they go, say, to knowledge, and then I will open an article. So click that, and then Excel functionality here. And then here the user will come here and they'll post some comments, right? Let's create something like that. Right, so how do I create an automated test to do this particular stuff? Before creating a custom UI test, this is for developers who created this particular UI page, let's say. This is for them. So before even you create custom UI test, make sure that your components are testable. And the way you can do that is, as part of custom UI testing feature, we added something called page inspector. So you can enable page inspector like that. And then you can go and make sure that those components are testable or not. So you can drag this little stuff here and you can say, okay, so if you see, then it will open this particular pane, and here you can see what all you can do with a component. Let's say a particular component is not testable, then you will see a message here saying it's not testable. We have also blacklisted some components, like, for example, the UI page, the page for which we already have tests, so the UI that we already have test steps for example, forms and service catalog. So those are the UIs that are blacklisted, and there's a list of stuff that are also blacklisted that you can look at this particular page in the document, what is supported and what's not. So these are untestable page components that is listed and it's documented, so you can look at that. But if, let's say, what untestable components you cannot see here and you want to make your component visible to ATF, then there's also a document here which talks about how you can make that component visible to ATF. So there's the SN ATF class attribute that you can add, and this whole document talks about how you can make a component visible to ATF. So make use of Page Inspector before even creating a custom UI test to make sure that the test that you want to create is really testable or not. And for developers who are building these UI pages, I would recommend after creating the UI page, use Page Inspector to make sure that UI pages that you created are testable by ATF.
Hey, Shruti, we have a question in the queue. Is there a certain role needed to be able to see the Page Inspector functions?
So it should be visible to all ATF test designers. So you can be an admin or ATF test designer. So those are the roles that you can use it to see Page Inspector. Then once you know that your pages are testable, then you can go and create ATF tests. So this is how we create ATF tests for custom UI. So let me do it. And so always the first step should be a step which will navigate to the page that you want to test, right? So here for the first step would be I will be navigating to the knowledge module first. So let me. Now, you have seen that I have not added an impersonation step here. The thing is, you can add an impersonation step, but when you add that, what it will do is when you try to create the test, it will only gather the component that is visible to that particular impersonated user. So it will not get the component that is not accessible by that impersonated user. So that's why I didn't add it now. But if you want, you can start with an impersonated user and do it. So the first step is navigate to the module. Then the next step is what I did was I clicked on a component on that particular page, knowledge page, right? So what this does is it's basically behind the scenes, since you guys are all technical people, behind the scenes it will run the previous steps. So it ran the previous steps and then it will collect all the components in that particular page. So it ran that, it navigated to that module, it opened that particular page and it collected all the components. So now here you can see that component is visible, right? The next thing I did was I clicked another component on that particular page. So again, it will go back and it will execute these two previous steps to collect the component of the next page. And make sure that this is using client test runner, so you will have to keep this particular client test runner in foreground because of the browser throttling issue, which is not related to ATF, it is related to browser. But so make sure you have that, otherwise your retrieve component step will keep executing. So then the next, now I collected all the components from that particular page. So now I'm going to say, okay, next is what I clicked on this particular link, right? And then what it did was then I clicked on these component button, right? So this particular, after clicking that link, it will open the knowledge article where I want to click on that particular leave a comment link, right? So this is what I did. the next time when now since we are on that page and we are now accessing all the components on that page, we have already retrieved the component of that particular page, right? So then what we don't have to do retrieve component again because we already have those components with us. So the next time you can just do next, and you can say I want to add a comment. And then you can say the next thing was I clicked a comment button. So, and then you can make sure whether the text appeared on the page or not. Right? So you can say, okay, I want to assert whether my comment was there or not. So this is how you create a custom UI test for the use case that I just talked about. And you can create custom UI tests for any custom service portal widget. You can do it for service portal, or you can do it for any UI pages. So now let's run this test and see. Look, the text appeared on the page and it asserted successfully. So this is custom UI testing. Let's go back to the presentation. So we also talked about Page Inspector, right? If you are a developer, make use of Page Inspector and make sure your page is testable by ATF. If you are a tester, you can also use Page Inspector and make sure that that the test you will be creating, all the components for the test you will be creating is accessible by ATF before even you start creating the test, right? So the next one is parameterized testing. So today, when without parameterized testing, to test, if you want to test a particular scenario with different set of data, you will have to create two different tests or multiple tests, right? For example, let's look at this particular use case, right? Now, let's say if I'm opening an incident and then I say impact is high, if you see my priority is changing to moderate, right? And then when I say my impact is medium, my priority is changing to low. Now, there's two combinations. Before parameterized testing, you would have to create two separate tests to test these two different combinations. But with parameterized testing, you can create one test and provide different set of parameters to test this particular combination. So let's see how we can do that. So here, can you see my screen, Chuck?
It's coming up. Waiting for it. Pardon the delay, everybody.
Not yet.
There it is.
All right, so here, so this is what I was showing before I realized that I didn't share my screen, which was if you want to test this particular scenario. So here I am creating a new incident and my impact is, let's say my impact is high, then if you see the priority, that is going to moderate, right? And if I click on medium, my priority is going to low. So if I want to test these two scenarios without parameterized testing, I would have to create two different tests. But with parameterized tests, you will create one. And let's see how we do that. So the way we create a parameterized test is by enabling this particular checkbox. We say, I want this test to be parameterized. Right? And once you do that, you will see two new related lists here. One is parameter definition, and the other one is test run data set. Parameter definition is where you will add parameters. So you can add an exclusive parameter, which is basically will be visible only to this particular test, and you can use that parameter only in this particular test. And shared parameter is something that is visible to all the tests. So basically that is shared across multiple tests. test run data set is where you will add the data set for the particular parameters that you have created. So let me do this. In the interest of time, I have already created one parameter here for my use case, which is priority. Now let me add another one here, which is impact. Right? Now, if you see my impact field is a choice list field, right? So then I have to create choices for my impact field as well. So let's do that. Right now, I have the data set for my parameters. I have parameter definition. I only have parameter definition. Sorry, I don't have a data set. So now creating a data set for my parameter definition, right? So we have two options here: import or new. So import is an option where you can import from Excel. So here we have an Excel template for you. You will have to make sure your data is following this particular template. So you first download the template, and then if you open the Excel template, you will see a guidance here. So it will provide you guidance what to put. And once you are familiar with that, you can add your roles here for the parameters. The reason why we wanted to follow a template because there are reference fields and so forth, right? So once you have your Excel file ready, you can upload that, and then you can just use that as your data set. The other option is you can manually add data sets. So let me do this. So I have high changes. Oops, my parameter doesn't look good. All right. Impact is high, priority goes to moderate, right? And if impact is low, priority is also low, right? And then when you create a test, so first step, let me impersonate as a user here. And I say, okay, I want to create an incident. And then I will say I want to set some values. Okay, so I'll say short description. And color, probably I will just use my impersonated user. And then I will use impact, right? So I'll make sure my impact. So here, now the way you use parameters is using the same back reference button, and then you can go and say, okay, I want to set my impact. Now here, I created an incident that impact as whatever it is there in the parameter. And then I will say, okay, submit that incident for me. And then in the fees value validation, I can just go and check whether the priority was set correct or not. Right. So then I will be using the same because I'm using the combination, the correct combination in my data set, right? So I will use the same thing here. So now this is my parameterized test is ready. And now I don't have to create two tests to test two different combinations. And let me run this. So if you see, it's running twice, right? Once with one set of parameters, one data set, and the other time with the other data set, right? And okay, let's go and look at the result. So here, if you look, the form did not match the condition where priority was low, right? So what happens here? Then,
Shriti, I think a couple of our really astute observers are saying that you may have swapped 3 and low with the label and the value.
Oh, all right. Let me go and look at it.
Crowdsource webinars, gotta love them.
Well, you know what? That's one of the most important things about testing is multiple sets of eyes looking at something. So, Shriti, you've got multiple sets of eyes.
Yeah, so this is I have tried this before coming to this webinar, so this is a successful case where I use the right stuff. Not high, low, and medium. Oh, that's okay, so it's low and medium, so my parameter set data is not right? It's not low and low, but it's impact is medium. Price is low. Okay. Now let's see if it works. Yes. So that particular combination that I was testing was wrong. So it did do the right thing. Like ATF did point out that your combination is wrong. So now it's successful because now I have the right combination in my data set. And once you go to the test result, this is where you see the parameterized test result, and it will see for two different data sets to run. So, and then you can click on that and you can see test results for a particular data set run as well. So if you have 10 data sets in the parameterized test, you will see 10 results here in the parameterized test results. So this is how you can test parameterized. You can do parameterized testing, and you can reduce your number of test cases that you create today using parameterized testing. So the little bit, another one is create a test suite, smart suite organizer, which was basically we added a filter condition in the test suite where you can add a filter condition, and the moment you add a filter condition, we will pull all the tests which matches the filter condition into that test suite. So this will help you create a suite faster. Before it was like you have to add one test at a time, and if you have a 50 test in a test suite, that was a lot of manual work, right? So adding a filter condition, and if you follow a good naming standard for creating tests, this will definitely help you a lot. And then the next thing that we added was QuickStart test. So QuickStart test, as I said, is a sample, is a test, prepackaged test for every application to test their out-of-the-box functionality. But you can make a copy of it and you can create your own test. So let me show you how you can do that quickly. So here, if you look at all the tests, you can see my screen, right, Chuck?
It's coming up.
Coming up.
There it is.
All right. So here, what you can do is you can do a group by package, and then I have only change management, ITF, and basically incident problem change installed on my instance. If you have any other application installed on your instance, you will see that application QuickStart test as well here. So what I see is change, incident, and problem. So you can open that particular application and you can look at the test. So for example, here this particular test is testing copy change on a normal change request, right? And if you look at these tests, they are read-only tests. So the reason why we made it read-only and inactive, because these tests anyway will work on your instance because they are dependent on demo data, and also they test out-of-the-box functionality. So if you have customized it, this particular test will anyway fail if you have, and you have a different set of data, right? So, but what this test will help you do is get started quickly. So what you can do is you can make a copy of it. When you make a copy of it, you will see the same information here. And then after making a copy of it, you can then modify this based on your customization, or you can just point to your own data. So you can go here and you can point to whatever you want to insert and create tests faster for all the applications that we have. One thing to also note is whenever you make a copy of it, and let's say if in the future we come up with a new change in that particular test, after the upgrade you will get notified saying you have made a copy of this particular test and we have a new version of this, you may want to go back and look at it. So that is a very cool feature to even let you know that, okay, these test threads where you may want to look at the new functionality that this particular test is trying to do that. And I will quickly also show you test suite feature. So this is where you will add a filter condition. You can say, okay, my name starts with something, and once you do that, it will pull all the tests. Let's see. It will pull all the tests which starts with that particular label. So you can add any filter condition here, and it will pull all the tests, and this will help you create tests faster. So that's it for me. Any questions, Chuck, that you would want me to take?
Yeah, we've got a few. Stacy, I'm doing some Q&A right now. Can you jump into the and pick the ones we flagged for Srini?
Of course. So if we go back to the custom UI testing, there were several questions around what is testable. So if your form has a modal or pop-up, is there the ability to test that? How about buttons on related lists? And especially around testing new UIs like the Tab Workbench or Agent Workspace.
All right, so these are the stuff that are not testable, and I said like for all the UI that we already have steps, those UIs are not testable. For example, forms are not testable. So related lists on the forms are not testable. That is something on our roadmap to support. We know like it is not supported today, but it will be there pretty soon. We are working on it. So that is not supported. Modal pop-up depend if you have a glide dialog modal box, then that is glide modal basically. That is testable, depends upon what kind of pop-up you have. If you have system generated pop-up, then no. but most of the pop-ups are testable.
Excellent. Thank you. There are a couple of questions also around custom UI testing, specifically around mobile interfaces and testing interfaces. We know that ATF really concentrates on testing the functionality, but does it touch at all? Are there plans to be able to test the mobile interface in the future?
Yeah, as I said before, it is something on our radar, but we don't have a release yet as to when that will come. But definitely, at some point we will be able to test mobile as well.
Okay. And then moving on to the parameterized testing, I saw a couple of questions in here about sharing parameters, being able to have a common set of variables that are shared across multiple tests in test suites and across test suites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so shared parameters are the parameters that can be tested across different, that can be shared across different tests. So what is the question there?
I think it was just confirmation that we can share those across multiple tests and test suites.
Got it. Yep.
Okay. Also, I see questions. There was mention of parallel testing in one of the slides. Could you just talk a bit about parallel testing, when you would use that, and the value that affords you?
So the parallel testing is something not there in Madrid yet. It is coming up in New York. So pretty soon, like in a month or two, you will see parallel testing. It's already available for in our developer instances that Stacy talked about. So what basically parallel testing will allow you to do is run multiple tests in a parallel. But one of the challenge of running parallel tests is also that if two tests are trying to modify same record, let's say, one of them will fail unexpectedly, right? So one of the things that we also did in New York was to make sure that we identify such scenarios and not run them in parallel and run them in sequence. But there could be scenarios where we are not able to identify. So in that case, we also added a capability where if you find such scenarios, you can say, okay, these two tests are mutually exclusive tests. They should not run in parallel. So that's the feature that we added in New York. Before New York, all the tests, even though there are multiple people running tests at the same time, the test will get sequenced. It will never run in parallel. But from New York, starting New York, you could run multiple tests at the same time on same instance.
Excellent. Also kind of maybe looking forward to, that currently test results go into a log. Are there any plans to visualize these in a dashboard so you can get an at-a-glance view of where things stand?
Yeah, I mean, you can use our inbuilt platform reporting feature because these results are stored in a table. So you can just query that table and use the reporting feature and create your own dashboard for that. So you can do that today using our reporting feature.
Excellent. Thank you. I think at this point we'll say, given the time frame, we may be running out of time for our interactive QA. If we did not get to your questions, please know that we are logging them all and we'll get answers posted up on the community. Shriti, thank you very much. This is incredibly informative. Chuck, do you want to take us to close?
You bet. Yeah, again, thank you, Shriti. Just want to give everybody a quick reference section. There are reference links on your browser if you're watching this live on the web, the live webinar. You've got resources that you can click on, including looking back into the older episodes, that's that fourth link down, and on the slide that you see on the screen, as well as registering for some upcoming events. So I encourage you to do that as well. We've got Sri pointed out the docs site where you can find out more information about this. The New York docs are available, so if you're using that on your personal developer instance, highly encourage you, go look at the docs on what's new with Madrid, specifically ATF for this presentation. Lots and lots of good information there. We already mentioned the developer portal at the top of the show. Not going to dwell too much on that, but great place to go. Create a sandbox environment. Test some of these features out. Get comfortable with them before you introduce them into your enterprise. And previous episodes, this was number 65, so we've been doing this a while. The other topics are available at that bit.ly link that you see there. And again, we'll have these questions answered in the next couple of days after we get our data back from this presentation service. We put them into, you got it, we put them into a ServiceNow app, do some analysis on them, answer them, and then trigger a notification. So if you asked 5 questions on here, we will send you one email with 5 links to your answers right on that page. So look forward to that. We're using our own product for our own webinars for your benefit. That's what I love about this. I just wanted to give one quick shout out to Stacey Bailey, who is on her last TechNow webinar today. Thank you very much. She's been with us for a little over a year, doing a wonderful, wonderful job. Had probably the highest rated webinar we last fall. I think it was Virtual Agent that garnered the best scores on the survey, and we appreciate your survey results on that. And again, thank you very much, Stacey. We will be introducing a new guest presenter host in the next webinar. So stick around for that. Our next webinar is on August 6th, where we'll be talking to Brad Tilton, another guest presenter. And of course, we've got all the New York features coming up at the end of the on August 20th. So don't want to miss that. Episode 67. Mark your calendars. Watch the social media links. Get registered for that. We'll have information out really, really quickly. In fact, I'll probably be doing that this afternoon. So use that bit.ly link we showed you before, episode 67 on the New York platform features. So you can contact us in a number of ways. Thank you for joining us today, and we wish you all the best of luck. Take care, everybody.